Before I discuss things, I just want to preface that this video isn't meant to discredit the experiences of Shayy's victims in any way, shape, or form. Hell, I'd highly recommend to give them all the love and support that they deserve during these tough times. This is more so to talk about my own personal feelings as both a former fan as well as a currently active and top-level DELTARUNE speedrunner, as I want to speak on behalf of a lot of others who are in a similar position as I am. This video is also scripted, I will say, because if you know me, I sort of have a hard time speaking my thoughts out loud, especially serious ones, without stuttering or going back on them, so I'd rather just have all of this written down first before I can talk about any of it. A few more things before I start to actually talk about this controversy. Number one, if you use this situation to somehow justify some past drama that involves Shayy, even in the slightest, or possibly not at all, looking at you, Merg, I'm sorry to say that you're just being extremely tone-deaf, inconsiderate, and overall petty. And number two, if you come in here using this whole situation as an excuse to be hateful towards the LGBTQ+ community, as well as neurodivergent people, then it just tells me that you don't actually care about the victims, and that you shouldn't belong here. So please, read the room or get lost. So anyways, to start things off, if you're not in the know, Shayy was a popular DELTARUNE and Undertale content creator and streamer, and recently, as of this video, they've unfortunately been exposed for a numerous amount of deplorable actions and repeated sets of behavior towards multiple people, including but not limited to their ex-partner, some of their closest friends, and even a few of their biggest fans. There's a document that I've linked in the description down below that details everything that they've done, but be warned that the content is very disturbing and an extremely long read overall, at least 200 pages worth of evidence. Normally, whenever someone in a community that I'm a part of gets exposed, I'd send a post on Blue Sky, Twitter, and sometimes even my YouTube community tab denouncing them and whatnot, but this time's different. To me, the Undertale and DELTARUNE communities, more specifically Fast Little Boys, the DELTARUNE speedrunning community, is a huge part of my life, and it's where I truly found and embraced my identity. It's how I came up with my name, Delta, and when my love for indie games truly started to shine. So, allow me for a bit to talk about my own thoughts and feelings regarding this whole situation. I was first introduced to Shayy by a YouTube video on my recommended page, and it was them getting a world record in Undertale's genocide category. I watched through all of it and was very interested in their personality, as well as their speedrunning skills. So I joined their Discord server, as well as any related DELTARUNE or Undertale speedrunning servers that I hadn't joined yet, and I watched some of their streams for a bit. I even became somewhat active in their community for a while, though nowhere near as active as I would have been had I continued to actually stay in it. Fast forward to about a year or two, I started to gain more interest in speedrunning DELTARUNE myself, and over time, I became a well-established top runner and a very active community member in Fast Little Boys, the DELTARUNE speedrunning server that I partially mentioned before, obviously. Shayy was always aware about my existence and knew who I was, even when I first heard about them, as their platform was nowhere near as big as it is now. In fact, they were arguably just as popular as mostly any other prominent Undertale or DELTARUNE runner today. We only got to talk to each other occasionally here and there, as we were mutuals on Twitter and had each other added on Discord at some point, all before the exposal obviously. These rare conversations were nothing weird or out of the ordinary, and Shayy didn't show any signs of their behavior that's been shown towards the people that they've hurt. So in no way am I another one of their victims, but looking back, I'm kind of concerned that it could have very well been. While I personally never looked up to Shayy, they were someone that I held at least some respect towards, as they, along with a bunch of other modern DELTARUNE and Undertale YouTubers, brought some light and authenticity to two games that I really loved, and both which I felt like kind of needed it in terms of content creation. For a while, I also felt like they represented the Undertale and DELTARUNE speedrunning communities pretty well, and as a top runner myself, it's definitely much appreciated, especially with how mixed of a reputation speedrunning as a whole has gotten, at least regarding a couple of years back. However, they don't deserve all of the credit, and I'm especially a lot more confident in saying that now ever since the exposal. They obviously weren't the ones to actually get me into speedrunning Deltarune initially, and they certainly weren't the reason I've been able to discover many other amazing speedrunners, community members, and some of my best and closest friends to this day. I'm not ever letting them taint that part of my life. Also, as far as I'm aware, they weren't even a good server owner for Fast Little Boys, or hell, lead moderator for the Deltarune speedrunning leaderboards, as they'd act childish and use their platform to influence many community polls, specifically in regards to major leaderboard changes. If something didn't go their way, they'd also try and criticize the hardworking and amazing moderation team, including calling one of them elitist for simply disagreeing with them and giving a good explanation on why a certain glitch should be banned in glitchless categories. Spoiler alert, it wasn't banned, and now it's too late to go back on that original decision. That being said, I still overall enjoyed what they brought to the Undertale and Deltarune scene as a whole, and yet it genuinely broke my heart reading the entire document and seeing what all of their victims, some of which I've even known and had some interactions with occasionally, went through. None of them deserve any of that, and disgusting is such an understatement, especially with more and more people coming out about their experiences with Shayy. Please, if you can, send as much love and support to the victims, because they deserve it far more than Shayy ever does. Obviously, this should go without saying, but please do so comfortably and respectfully. Their boundaries were already broken, and we don't want to contribute to that even more. To close off this video, I think it's best to give some final words. To recap, please don't be transphobic, homophobic, queerphobic, whatever, all that stuff. Or ableist, or hell, even act like how Merg did with his cocky personality in that one video. More importantly though, please don't idolize or stan anyone, especially when it comes to online personalities or popular figures in general. They're not above us when it comes to being a literal normal person, like everyone should be, no matter what. Even with their huge platforms and follower counts or whatever, they still have some very major responsibilities and morals to uphold, and if not, then they end up hurting their friends and betraying their fans in the process. We don't truly know them, and they don't truly know us, and having parasocial relationships with them is a cause for disaster. We should also take this time to recognize the community as a whole for once, rather than putting one person in the spotlight. There are so many amazing artists, musicians, content creators, just talented people in general in this community. Hell, I might as well throw in the speedrunners and no-hitters into the mix as well. They've been able to push Undertale, Deltarune, and even many of the fan games to their absolute technical limit, and it's really impressive stuff. Anyways, that's all for now. Take care everyone, and stay safe, especially if you're under the age of 18. There are people out there that only care about themselves and don't pay attention at all if they're hurting you. And if you're over the age of 18, please take this time to make whatever place or community you're in as safe as possible for everyone in it, especially if there are minors involved. We don't want any more situations like this, or people like Shayy to be involved. Good night, everyone.